Knowledge Drop, where we talk about science, technology, and engineering in a way that gets us excited about the future. I'm Derek.
And I'm Hayden.
So Hayden, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, today, my friend, we're going to talk about the future of travel. I'm going to lead you into the wondrous world of supersonic planes, hyperloop. We might even get into some space travel.
Ooh, I am a sucker for space travel.
I knew you were. All right. So hit us with a fun fact before we get into the meat of the episode.
So today's fun fact is kind of a continuation of the last two episodes, actually. I got notifications on two different stories that I thought would be really cool to talk about briefly. So in Europe, they successfully 3D printed a 2-story house.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason this is a big deal is because it's normally, if you're 3D printing a house like the one that we talked about on the episode, it's usually just the walls and it's roofed
Yes.
with a different material, or it's just a structure that you can just plop on top of the 3D printed structure.
Right.
And so what they were able to do with this 3D printed thing is they were able to bridge across the walls to create a floor for the next level.
Wow.
And it's super, super cool.
That's insane. So how does that even work? Like, are they 3D printing? I'm assuming they're 3D printing like each part of the house individually and assembling it.
So I'm going to give this a try, but I'm going to show a quick little video. And for those that are listening, I'm just going to describe what's happening. So there's I'll make sure and share this on social media, the clip of the video, but this is the, video of them 3D printing the house. And I'm going to mute it just so it's not super annoying. But you can see this 3D printer going back and forth like you see regular 3D printers, and it's using concrete or fibercrete. I'm not really sure. But it looks like they were actually able to put the floor in, and it's nuts that they're able to do that.
Jeez.
And it would be really cool to kind of do that for fun.
My gosh.
Like you saw that just go right across the top, and
yeah.
So that was it.
Yeah, you guys got to see that. You got to go check that out.
If you guys want to look for the story, it's futurism.com, and just in their website just search for 3D printed 2-story house and you'll find it.
Yeah. I'm sure if you Googled something like that, it would show up.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's the only 2-story 3D printed house out there on the market right now. So
you are correct, sir. And it is actually, it says, I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's the biggest house printed in one piece with a fixed printer.
Well, I didn't even know there were any houses being printed. So
there have been houses printed, but like I said, they're usually smaller, like 1 or 2 bedroom with 1 bathroom or whatnot.
So I wonder what the square footage was. I mean, not that you would have that off the top of your head, but I just wonder, because once you've 3D printed the house, like, what's the next step? How do you move the house out of the warehouse, where it was 3D printed?
They're 3D printed in place.
Oh, so the 3D printer is mobile?
Yeah.
Gee. So it's just like a framework that you can put over your spot where you want your house.
Yeah.
And then press go. And
yeah, because it would be too sensitive to move concrete like that was that delicate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I was like, well, are you 3D printing it and then somehow it's a mobile home? But yeah, that makes a lot more sense, that you're just moving the framework of the 3D printer and then boom. Can you imagine?
So yeah, I'm super excited about it. If I ever own property and I'm able to 3D print like my workshop or something, I'm totally going to do it.
Yeah. So imagine, I don't know how many man hours is it to make a house right now, and then how many how long does it take to 3D print a house?
Hmm.
I wonder what that compares to, but that's really interesting. I can see in my mind, like, they've got, you know how they've got your neighborhood development going on, they've got everything dug out for each plot of land, and I can imagine them just rolling that framework over each plot, just letting it 3D print, or maybe even having several of those going at once.
Hmm.
And you're just 3D printing houses like every day and a half or 2 days or 3 days. Then you're just rolling on to the next plot of land and
Yep.
press go, load it up with more material.
Yeah, the cool thing that I remember, the Chinese houses that they were 3D printing, they said they could print a house every day.
Gee,
And this house, so I just looked at the article, it's 980 square feet for a
okay.
two-story home. And they
Yeah,
say
not bad.
it's significantly faster and it uses less material and could significantly cut construction costs.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, because you've got everything, you've got the entire framework just done in one swoop. So
Yep. And
that's
then
cool.
on the flip side of a 3D printed house using concrete, I got notified of the first ever 3D printed functioning heart pump. So it's not a heart,
Right.
but it's a heart pump.
A heart pump. Okay.
And so this is like the first step, and I'm gonna show you guys kind of the video, but I would just go to 3dnatives.com and you can kind of see what it looks like and read about. It's University of Minnesota, and they've been trying to do this for years, and this was kind of their last ditch effort. But it's this tiny little thing, and it was really, really, I'm trying to think. It was weird. There's a YouTube video about the heart kind of pumping on its own, and it's really, really cool. They don't have the video on this article, but I would definitely go on YouTube and check it out. But
So this helps to fight against heart disease.
yeah,
Is that what I'm
so
seeing?
one of the, it kills the most Americans every year is heart disease. Because of diet and genetics and XYZ, there are tons of people dying from this.
Yeah.
And so we've been trying to do heart replacements or heart transplants for a long time, which are successful.
Mhm.
But there's this huge long list of people that need hearts, but then there's not so long of a list for those that are supplying them, if you know what I mean.
Right. Yep.
And so if we had the technology to use your own cells to 3D print you a heart, there would be no rejection. Your body would not even know the difference between your old heart and your new heart. And it would, be super cheap because
Yeah.
it's 3D printing. There's no man hours. There's no, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's incredible. I mean, what do you, if you're looking for like Black Mirror type stuff, or if you feel like you're in the future, like, yeah, we're 3D printing hearts now. So welcome to the future.
Yeah.
Sweet, man. Looking forward to that by the time that I'm old enough to be dying of heart disease.
Right.
Get my replacement parts.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's move on to the meat of the podcast. We're going to talk about travel. I wanted to talk about supersonic jets because they're making a comeback.
What do you mean comeback?
So did you know about Concorde?
I've heard about it, and I knew it was a jet, but I don't know like if it was ever in production or if it ever made any like real flights or anything like that. I know there was like a crash, but I don't know if it was like a test crash or not.
Oh, it was more than a test crash. So about 15 years ago, uh, they came out with Concorde supersonic jets, going to get you around the world incredibly fast. But they had a crash, unfortunately. I think it was in France, which ended up killing everybody on board and 4 people on the ground.
Oh wow.
So it's about 113 people in total. And after that tragedy, what can you do? You're going to lose your investors. You're going to lose your whole project, right? So Concorde got shut down. I guess it was deemed kind of unsafe in the public opinion, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing with the Hindenburg airships,
Yeah.
blimps.
Yeah. After something like that happens, what are you going to do to try and change that perspective in people's minds, you know? But it's been 15 years now, and companies are starting to come up with their own versions now of the supersonic jet. So there's one company, it's called Boom. And they're
Are they trying to say something with that company name, or?
well, now that I think about it, with the whole crash perspective, it's not a good name,
Yeah, that's my thought too.
but that's only because I just told that story, and now your mind is like, oh, that's not a good
Yeah,
name. But
like you're primed for it.
I think it's referring to the sonic boom that it makes because it uh, travels at Mach 2.2.
Oh
So
wow, yeah.
that's 2.2 times faster than the speed of sound. So that's all that Mach means, is just how many times faster than the speed of sound you're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this company Boom, they're coming out with their own. It's going to be faster than the Concorde. It's going to be quieter than the Concorde. It's going to be safer than the Concorde. We all hope. But they're saying that they're going to be able to cross from London to New York in about 3 hours.
Whoa.
So think about that. Normally, in your normal commercial jet airliner, it's about 8 hours. 8 hours is kind of the norm for a commercial jet, London to New York. So you're cutting off 5 hours. You know, you're shaving off that time. Now, seats are currently about $5,000 a pop. So
Oh, okay, yeah, that.
save your money. You're gonna need it. Yeah, that's a new car for me right there. So
Yeah, really. So is that just because it's a startup thing, or is that like there's a
yeah, of
lot of
course. I
fuel
mean,
usage, or?
so supply and demand, it's just the way it's gonna be, you know. Brand new product. It's considered, I mean, what would you call it? It's a specialty thing, a premium thing. So yeah, it's going to be like that for a while. But they're actually pretty optimistic. They're saying that with new advances in material science and the new jet fuels that they're getting, that's probably going to be comparable to like a business class ticket.
Okay.
But that's going to be some years down the road because they're just now they're aiming for 2025 to get passengers on the planes and get them going. So they're in the testing phase right now, but supersonic jets are definitely going to be here, and 10, 15 years probably going to be a normal thing. And it's probably going to be, you know, maybe it's not like it's not like a coach ticket would be today, but it's like how you might pay for a first class flight on a commercial. Could be a similar price when you're in the future. You know, you're paying a similar price to first class, and you're getting a basic seat on a supersonic jet. It's going to get you there in less than half the time. So
Yeah, I wonder once they start scaling up, if the tickets will come down, if that will be competitive with regular air travel, and will it make them want to lower their prices as well, the commercial airlines?
yeah, I think it stands to compete because we're talking about half the time. And what does everyone want? I mean, you don't want to be. Let's say you're going intercontinental. You know, do you want to be on your flight for 15 hours if you're going from Arizona to Tokyo or something? You know, things to think about. But especially if you're like a government person or famous person who has
Elon
that kind of
Musk.
Elon Musk, if you need to be somewhere and you need to be there quickly,
Yeah, if he needs to
I
get to
mean,
his China factory or his Berlin, Germany factory, like just pop over.
But I think as it comes down, yeah, it'll definitely stand to compete because time is money, you know. People need to be places quickly, and
Yeah. Okay.
the more people that do it, the cheaper and cheaper it's going to get, right? So I think it's just a matter of time. But now let's move on to Hyperloop. So Hyperloop, I don't know if you've heard about it. I think you have,
Yeah, so this I have heard a little bit about.
and I assumed you'd heard about it because because it's an Elon Musk thing. And you know, traditionally we have to mention him at least once during the podcast. So
You are
here we
correct.
go. Elon Musk. It's just that it's not that we want to mention him every time. It's just that he's in everything. So what can
He's
we do?
changing the world, man.
You know, we don't want to be super fans, but you know, what can we do? We have to be.
Yeah. So I actually learned a funny story about Hyperloop. So it was kind of spearheaded by Elon Musk at first, but he turned it over to the public because he didn't have enough time. He didn't want to devote that kind of energy to starting another company and having to, baby that and make sure it's headed in the right direction.
Yeah, he just needs to clone himself and then, you know, send those clones out to change the world. But yeah, he's just like, here's this amazing idea. You guys go with it, make it happen. So this is one of the safest and it's way cheaper modes of travel that you can find. Sorry, I've got like a tickle in the back of my throat. So Hyperloop's going to be, what it is it's a levitated pod. So it's magnetically levitated. And then it has an electric motor that can accelerate electromagnetically. I'm saying the word magnetically a lot. It accelerates the pod over a levitated track, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the track's not levitated. The train is levitated. And it can move at about 670 miles per hour, sometimes more.
Is that theoretical or is that like what we've currently gotten to?
Real. They've tested it. So in North Las Vegas, they have a test track, and these are the real speeds. Like, that's for real.
That's pretty cool.
And it'll move silently, and it will be pretty cost effective. Actually, it's Elon Musk was saying a track from they have already some plans from Los Angeles to San Francisco, which is right now with traffic probably like an 8 or 9 hour drive, right? LA traffic. But with Hyperloop, if you had a Hyperloop track from LA to San Francisco, it would probably take you about 2 hours. So you're talking 8 hours to 2 hours. Plus, you don't have to deal with traffic. You don't have to deal with gasoline. Like,
Nope.
think about your gasoline cost just traveling 8 hours, you know?
Yeah. Something that's funny about that specific use case. So my father-in-law, he worked for the railroad company in California, and he talks about how they're building a high-speed rail from San Francisco to Los Angeles, and it's going to be like a 4 or 5 hour drive. Or not drive, sorry.
Yeah.
It'll be a 4 or 5 hour trip one way.
Sure.
And I think it's funny that, like, yeah, it's kind of cutting the time in half, but there's also going to be a Hyperloop that could potentially be built faster than the high-speed rail.
Yep.
That's going to be significantly faster than the high-speed rail. So it's
like
faster to make, faster to build, or cheaper to build, and then lower travel time.
I know. I was thinking about that because I saw some stuff about high-speed rails, and I was like, well, why would I go with that when I can have something way cooler and faster?
Exactly.
You know? So the Hyperloop, they're saying it's going to be about $20 a pop each way.
No way.
Which to me is like no brainer. Are you kidding me? from LA to San Francisco, no problem. You're going to spend what, $80, $100 in gas alone? You're
Yeah, I
driving for
think
8 hours.
if I had that option to take the Hyperloop, I'd be willing to pay like 50 to $100 one
Oh
way.
yeah. And it could easily start out that way. I'm not saying it won't, but
Yeah.
that's just kind of Elon Musk made that kind of comment that it was $20 each way, 2 hours, so you're less than half the time and you're traveling in style, man. That thing looks cool. You guys should look up the Hyperloop. It's like I don't know. It's levitating. All right. That's all you need to know. It levitates. It's
So
amazing.
all you have to do is get on the train and then close your eyes and sleep for 2 hours, and you're gonna wake up and not even realize that you moved
Yeah.
so many 100 miles.
You got no turbulence, completely silent because you're not making contact with anything. So, hey, yeah, that's going to be worth it. Can you imagine how many people would use that? Who doesn't need to? I mean, when you're talking city to city like that, maybe you could get from Phoenix to LA in an hour.
See, that's what I was excited for because I originally heard it was going to be from Phoenix to LA, and I was really excited because there's some jobs in LA that I would love to have, but I don't want to work. I don't want to live in LA,
Oh yeah, that
and
opens up
so
so many possibilities for you.
yeah, yep.
You start work at 8 a.m. You get on that track at 6:30, 7. You're gonna make it on time. That's crazy. That changes a lot of things.
And yeah, see, I wouldn't even mind the hour commute there and hour commute back because the cost of living difference is
Oh,
huge.
absolutely. Yeah. You're making LA money, but you're living in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that? So you're
Yeah.
making whatever, you're making your 60, 70, 80 grand in LA or more because they're paying you according to LA standards, right? But the Phoenix real estate market is way cheaper. So think about that. It's like you're double dipping.
I wonder if this becomes like more mainstream and there's more hyperloops that like, let's just say for example, it goes from LA to somewhere in the boonies of California. And so now is your pay based on where you live, or is it based on the job description itself, like the skills
Right.
of the job?
I'm sure it'd have to change over time. I mean, that's something that as it becomes public policy and you start to then eventually you start to have politicians get involved and they create new laws, they create new modes of whatever, blah blah blah. Because even think about what's minimum wage in Los Angeles. I'm not sure what it is, but minimum wage in Arizona is $12 an hour, but in Los Angeles it's probably 14 or 15. So you could have a $3 pay increase just by getting a job at McDonald's in LA, but you um what's it called? Commute. I
Yeah.
can't think of that word.
Yeah.
You commute there every day, which
So
obviously
sad thing is you said Arizona wage. What was it? Did you said?
it's $12 an hour right now, I think.
So I don't know if this is right. It says 11 on here for Arizona and 12 for California, and that's
Oh,
crazy to me because it's so much cheaper here to live. And
that is
by
weird.
moving to California, you're going to have $1 raise potentially, but the living expenses are going to be significantly more than that. That's crazy.
Huh. That's weird. Yeah, I saw posted on my work the other day. You know how they have posted like Arizona laws and all that
Yeah,
junk.
yeah.
I
So yeah, I don't know if that
12.
website was correct or not.
Yeah. It may have just recently changed. I don't know with all the COVID stuff going on. But all right, so let's move on to the last one, the most epic one. Virgin Galactic. It sounds amazing, right?
Are you gonna? Is this rockets? Because that's all I know they do.
Yes. So it's a plane slash rocket slash plane again. So
Ooh, that sounds kind of complicated.
yeah, I mean, I don't really get it, but because I haven't delved into it too much, but um, so they're selling it as space tourism. So Virgin Galactic space tourism, right? So you start off in a plane, and it's a plane attached to a rocket. So the plane, uh, it's just a normal plane. You're flying off, and you slowly rise until you get around 50,000 feet. Okay. And once you get to about 50,000 feet, your plane, they turn on the jets, they turn on the rocket boosters, and the pilot points the nose up, just straight up, and you're going into space. So you're getting kind of, you're getting a good distance up there, and then boom, you're headed into space.
That sounds crazy because like 50,000 feet isn't too bad. That's kind of give or take normal cruising altitude for commercial airlines. But then like, hey guys, strap in. We're going vertical.
Put on your seatbelts, please. We are about to turn into a giant flaming rocket. Yeah, so I thought this was amazing. So then it goes. Right now, they've already done tests. I don't know if they're manned tests, but they've already done tests, and they've gotten about 51 miles into the atmosphere, which is considered by United States standards outer space.
Okay.
So you're getting to outer space, and it's only going to cost you $250,000 a seat.
So I guess
save your money.
would you be considered an astronaut at that point?
Yeah. Well, what do you define as an astronaut?
Someone who's gone to space and come back?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're an astronaut. Congrats.
What? Yeah, I don't know if that's the real
Got to be super rich.
definition, but sounds
Turns
close enough
out
to
money can buy happiness at the end of the day.
me. Yeah.
So, yeah, so once you get to outer space, you get to experience weightlessness for about 6 minutes, is what they said. So $250,000, 6 minutes, kind of worth it, I guess. Like they
That'd
let
be
you
totally worth it for
They're
me.
like, ladies and gentlemen, you may now unfasten your seatbelts because we're in space. So then you get to undo your seatbelt, and you get to float around the cabin, do whatever you want, take pictures. And then once those 6 or 7 minutes are up, the rocket turns. It's called. I didn't go too deep into it, but it's called feather mode. So it turns back into a plane, pretty much. Which means I don't think it's like a plane. It's more like a mostly glider plane.
So it's using the
landing gear.
surface area of the broadside to slow itself down. Is kind of what you're talking about, like a feather.
So, yep. So it's basically just so that it can land. Like it's just a glider and a landing gear pretty much from there. Because I think you're losing components along the way, maybe. I assume you'd have to lose some weight somewhere, like a normal rocket staged launch, or maybe not because you're already up there. I don't know.
Well, and you're going to be burning fuel, so just by nature of, burning that fuel to get up there, you're going to be a lot lighter on the way down if you don't, kick off some stages or something like that.
Sure. Yeah, so then from there it just lands like a normal plane, and cool, you went to space. So that sounds awesome, right? And I was so surprised because in the stuff that I was reading, they were like, oh yeah, and also you could travel anywhere in the world in 3 hours.
Well, wait.
Yeah, that was kind of an afterthought. Like
New York to Hong Kong, like 3 hours. Like literally halfway across the world.
Well, so here's the deal. You're traveling at 3,000 miles an hour. once you're in the rocket stage. So instead of using it to go up into space, you could use that rocket as you're traveling at 3,000 miles per hour. So 3,000 miles per hour, how far are you getting in 3 hours? You can get 9,000 miles away. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Interesting.
I don't even know. What's the distance between like here in Hong Kong? I don't know. Let's see. Hong Kong. Oh, why doesn't it tell me the miles?
Oh, I beat you to it. New York to Hong Kong is 8,045 miles.
Okay. So yeah, 3 hours. You're there.
Man.
I mean, obviously, you're going to have to first do the plane stage and get up to your altitude. So you're probably not interfering with any traffic or anything. But so that might add on to the times. But,
sure.
But I mean, still.
This does sound an awful lot like what Elon Musk wants to do in the future with the reusable Falcon 9 rockets.
Mm-hmm. The rocket that lands itself?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think enough people know about that.
We're going to have to do an episode on rockets because with my internship wrapping up and I've just been absorbing all this great rocket knowledge and it'll be good.
Heck yeah. Yeah, man. So that's Virgin Galactic right there. You can go to space or you can go anywhere in the world in about 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, that sounds so cool. Like I desperately want to go to space. I don't want to like work in space or be an astronaut or anything like that, but I want to put something in space. I want to visit it.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people would be interested. Probably, I think at that point, the Flat Earth Society is going to die out, right? Because
I really, really hope so.
Enough people are going to be up there like, yeah, no, yeah, I'm seeing a curve. Anyway, I hope so, right?
Yeah. What's funny is Elon Musk asked the Flat Earth Society, why is there no Flat Mars Society? And they replied back. They replied back and they said, well, Mars has been observed to be round. And everyone was like, what's so special about every other planet in our solar system that it's round, that the Earth isn't round? You know what I mean? It was kind of funny to see.
They should just go to Mars so that they can look back at the Earth and, oh yeah, it is round. Everything, I guess, hindsight is 2020, right?
Yeah. See, I guess I don't know if I want to send flat earthers to another planet. I think I'd rather like send smarter
you don't want to create a new society based on flat earthers, do you?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Cool. Well, you got any comments? You got any questions? You got any jokes?
I do have a recommendation for you guys.
Yeah. Hit it.
So I've been watching this YouTube channel for like over a year now. And he's actually one of the hosts of Our Ludicrous Future, which is a past recommendation. But the YouTube channel is called Answers with Joe. And he does a lot of really cool stuff. There's a lot of science stuff on there. He talks about, electric cars and hydrogen cars and special kinds of batteries that don't require chemicals, like cool stuff like that. So I'd recommend.
Sweet. Check it out. Yeah, my recommendation is a library app. So can't really go to the library right now. And if you don't feel like paying for a Kindle or what's the other book not podcast?
The Amazon Fire?
Amazon Fire.
Or just a tablet?
Audible. Yeah. If you don't feel like
Audible. That's right.
So it's pretty much like you got your public library in your pocket. It's really cool. And it's all free. So basically all you need to do is get like a public library card And then this app, it's called Libby, Libby. It grants you access to every book that you would find in a library. So
yeah, I've been using it for over a year now, and I love it. Like sometimes there's a waiting line for popular books, but it's solid. I like it a lot.
yeah, and they've got a ton of audiobooks on there. So when I get bored of podcasts, I just throw in an audiobook, usually a classic of some sort, because a lot of the newer stuff, yeah, you have to like put a hold on it, right? Reserve your spot in line, but yeah, it's really cool. So you guys should check it out. Give it a listen.
Cool. Thanks, Hayden. So yeah, thank you guys for listening this week. Hope you enjoyed us talking about the future of, travel, but like in an aerospace and supersonic jets and hyperloop stuff. And so tell us if you liked it, and if you want to hear more or want to hear more from us, rate us on your podcast app, follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We do post YouTube videos about us doing this podcast, so
yeah,
check it out.
All right, guys, have a great week. We'll hit you with the next one.